So let's address the elephant in the room, the housing bubble, the housing crash. We are doomed. So this is out to those that are posting everywhere and anywhere of the housing market's going to crash and all this other stuff. I'm up for a debate. Okay, I'm putting a challenge out there and I'm going to show you why. If you've been on this bandwagon for the last 2-3 years, you missed out an incredible opportunity. And this is what I'm going to show you today. So let's get to it. Not calling anybody out, but I just Googled, and here's my Google thing. Housing bubble videos from 2020. So let's go through them. Housing bubble, housing bubble, housing bubble, housing bubble, housing bubble, housing bubble, housing's gonna crash, housing bubble, housing's gonna crash. Okay, this was 2020. Okay, I could probably go to 2019 and 2018. It's like those things that I always say. It's like, you know what, I'm telling you what's going to happen, and then some people are like, oh yeah, it's eventually going to happen. No, I'm trying to give you specific dates, times, at least Q1, Q2, things like that. I can always say, well, the stock market's going to crash. 5 years later, it crashes, and it's like, told you. Well, everything's cyclical. So let's get to the factual numbers behind all this stuff. Anybody that follows me knows I like my nifty Excel spreadsheets. So let's get to it. Here's what I just brought up through all the information that I just gathered. And this was pretty darn quick. You could do this on your own. I won't even leave the links down below to show you where I got this information because it's easily Googleable, if that's a word. Okay, so let's get to it. So the first thing we're going to start with is where were we, or what was the appreciation numbers in 2020? So we go over here and we look it up, and I don't know exactly where I found this on where this is CoreLogic. So this is a huge real estate firm. They saw home values in 2020 up 9.2%. So remember, 9.2% in 2020. 2022, we we increase of 18.8, and this is from CoreLogic. This is a huge company with a lot of a good substantial reputation. Okay, so that's where I want to start. Those two pieces of the puzzle right there. So now let's get into my trusty little website or Excel spreadsheet. So here's what the numbers look like on the Excel spreadsheet. So let's just hypothetically, again, amuse me on this, is we bought a house for $250,000 in January of 2020. All right, 2020, you still have tons of people out there saying that housing market crash. Okay, so, you know, your prerogative. But we saw a 9.2 appreciation rate in 2020. That means on a $250,000 home, it would appreciate $23,000, bringing you up to $273,000 by the end of the year. And then you go into 2021, that we saw an 18.8% appreciation. So we start with this figure in 2021. We put the 18% appreciation on there, brings you up to this, how much in value you went up. Now your value is $324,000 for an ROI of 30% of just $75,000. All right, so let's just use that as our starting point. Okay, so that doesn't also assume that you're paying down on your mortgage payment or your balance because you're making a mortgage payment. That also, let's assume, well, let's not assume, but your mortgage payment and rental payments that we normally see are pretty comparable. What happens is so many people just sit on the sidelines and they're like, I think I need 20% down, you know, and then when they get educated and find out they don't need to, then they buy a house. So a lot of the things is, you know, but not now in 2022. Yes, I agree with you. Home values are up. Rates are up, pushing up the mortgage payments. But it was just announced that rents for the past year in 2021 were up 15.5%. Okay, kind of unsustainable also. Maybe, don't you think? Okay, so that's what's going on right now in the market. So there could be doomsday sayers out there, which is fine with me. Sit on the sidelines, continue to pay rent and increase those rent payments or not. But let's now talk about the supply demand. It comes down to that as well. I had two clients that I spoke with yesterday. Both of them were in bidding wars, still in bidding wars. That's all I'm going to say. So what does that mean? Well, it means that there's still great demand and limited supply. So all these videos that you see as home sales are plummeting, dig into the why. And why There's no supply. Okay, between the and I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here. Between the supply chain issues, labor shortages, and people in forbearance with those low rates, there's not a lot of houses on the market. So when you do go to buy, there's a lot of competition. So what's my projection out for the next couple of years? I see 2022 us being up, and the only reason why I'm saying this is the supply issue. Now, if we had ample supply, my numbers would be like we could be potentially flat. But I'm still saying we're probably going to see a 4 to 5% increase this year in values, which is increasing this ROI for us even that much more. So if you want to rent, God bless you. I'm not saying you have to buy or rent. What I'm trying to address with everybody on social media, everybody in the news, you're up for a debate. If you want to debate with me, please let me know. We can even do a YouTube live if you want. That's fine with me. I hope you could prove me wrong. But I still say, if you buy a house, everybody's saying, well, if you buy a house, rates are going to go up and those payments are going to go. Once you buy a house, you're locked in. That payment isn't moving. You don't have to worry that your landlord is going to increase your rents next year 15%. It won't happen. Okay? That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to educate people. I'm not saying you have to buy a house. I'm not saying you have to rent a house. You can live with your family or your parents or somebody. Kudos. You're going to save a ton of money. But if you need a place to live, so those that I want to debate are, here's my platform for the debate. A family of 5 with a dog and a fish tank. And they live within, or they need to live within an hour of work. Okay? And let's say they're in one of those areas that's really hot. What do? What would your advice be to them? Because where I get sick and tired of is, don't buy a house because market's crashing and everything's terrible when you're buying a house. Oh, and by the way, rents are up 15%, so that's not a good idea. Move to, Bangladesh. Well, I can't move to Bangladesh. So I need to figure out what is my best choices. How do I make a financial educated decision on this? And that's what my channel is about. So I hope you find this video informative. I hope you don't take offense to it. If you're one of those ones that maybe I showed you on the YouTube thing or whatever, I'm up for a debate. It's not an argument, guys. We're all on the same page here. I think we're all trying to help customers out there, clients out there, the general public make honest, good, substantial financial decisions. Let's work together to educate those guys. So please contact me down below. Shoot me an email at dan@therateupdate.com, however you want to. But I would love to debate this with you. And these are why I do YouTube lives. I do YouTube lives to bring up things like this, to have a dialogue with people so we can put everything out there and at least have a cordial discussion and put out our ideas, because there's a lot of different people out there in the world with a lot of different opinions, and they're all appreciated. So thank you so much for watching, guys. God bless. Take care. Be safe. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.